what happened to our road trip, and are we ready for Europe? We have a lot of questions coming in with our transition from van life to full-time travel, living out of suitcases in Europe. So we asked you guys to ask us any questions that you're curious about our transition, and from Instagram and YouTube, we have a bunch that we're gonna share with you today.
We hosted our own contest where we would let you guys guess how many miles we would drive in our van from San Diego, California to Hartford, Connecticut. Nobody saw it coming that we were going to Florida. So most of the people's guesses were in the 3,000 range, which would have been more of a direct road, but we did have a few people who guessed pretty close to the actual number.
The winner gets $100, and we would donate $100 to One Tree Planted, which is a nonprofit organization that will plant one tree for every dollar donated.
So the winner with the guess of 5,104 miles was Emily. So congrats to Emily and everyone else who participated in the contest.
Emily decided to also match our contribution to One Tree Planted. So together we are donating $200 to One Tree Planted and planting 200 trees. Thank you to everybody who entered our contest. It was so much fun to guess mileage, and we want to do these things more in the future. We are full-time travelers, and we know that by traveling we are contributing to a lot of carbon emissions being released on this earth, so we want to give back to environmental organizations like One Tree Planted.
And the correct number of miles that we drove from San Diego to Connecticut with a very long detour in Florida was 5,163.
Yay!
Right, that was the right number?
Yes, that's
okay.
Correct. So now that the contest and the road trip is over, the next order of business is the van.
We've been asked so many times about what's up with the van. Did we sell the van? Are we keeping the van? What happens if the van doesn't sell? And short answer, yes, the van sold. We sold it to a guy who's also from Connecticut, and his first trip he has planned is to Alaska, so it seems very fitting. Our favorite trip was to Alaska, and if you haven't watched any of those videos, go watch them after this. Yep. But congrats to him and his new adventures. I know he's gonna have an awesome time.
The next question is, are we going to miss the van?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We already missed the van. We're happy to know that the van is going to be taken on adventures and not just sitting in a garage or a storage unit, just sitting there. That just makes us more sad.
Yeah. And we didn't really want to rent it out. We thought about the options, and we've just heard too many horror stories of people not knowing how to really maintain a van, and we didn't want to have to go through the headaches of managing a rental while we were gone.
Yeah. So we're super excited for everything that's happened so far up to today. And I kid you not, we sold and dropped off the van yesterday, and we are flying out to Europe today. So like, mind blown. Everything just worked out perfectly, and we are a little stressed, but we will be okay.
What are we gonna miss the most about van life? I think for me personally, it's gonna be the complete freedom of the road, where we can truly go anywhere that we just want to drive to. And it was as easy as getting in, turning on the van, and driving.
I think we'll miss the off the beaten path kind of places. We're gonna be living in Europe and taking public transportation around, so it's not gonna be the same vibe, but we're excited to kind of change it up. But that's gonna be the thing that we miss most about van life.
Definitely.
For sure.
Van life's also extremely convenient for having every little thing we might possibly need at any given moment, because our house is just right there. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of navigate learning how to just pack exactly what we really, really need.
I feel like we were spoiled. Now we're really getting into minimalism, and all we're bringing is 2 suitcases and 2 backpacks. That's it.
Check-in or carry-on only.
We prefer carry-on. We would love to not have to deal with the hassle of like losing our luggage, and we chose rolling carry-on luggage because I just can't bring all of that stuff on my back. I truly can't. And we have some personal item backpacks that we're gonna be bringing onto the plane with us, so hopefully between the two we have everything we need to travel full-time.
We did try the carry everything in a backpack method when we went to Mexico and on our train ride across America, and we realized that's just not how we want to travel. It was just a ton of weight to lug around. Megan's so short that when she got on the plane with the big backpack, she was just hitting everybody.
The next question we got was, when are we leaving for Europe?
By the time you see this video, we will already be in Europe.
We cannot be more excited. So the next videos you're gonna see from us are gonna be completely travel Europe related videos. The next question is, how long do we plan on being in Europe?
For the next 5 months, we will be in Europe, and then we're coming back for a wedding, and then we have round trip tickets back to Europe.
We don't know what our plans are for the fall, but for the spring and summer, we will be in Europe, and we're gonna have a grand old time.
An amazing time.
But again, we don't have a van and we don't have a house, so we're living out of suitcases. So if you're also asking how long we're planning on living out of suitcases full time, I can't tell you that either. We just don't know. We're kind of like feeling out what we want. So the next question is, have we been overseas yet, or will this be our first? So we've both been overseas before for different reasons. I've been to Asia multiple times to visit family, but never to really vacation anywhere.
And I've been to Ireland and Scotland with my dad and my brother a few years back. We went on just a guys trip vacation. It was a pretty fun time, but other than that, I've never been anywhere else in Europe.
Before van life, we had barely done a lot of traveling. I've gone on a lot of flights, but mostly for business and to visit family, but never as a tourist. So we're really excited to open our eyes to new countries, new cultures, new food, all of that stuff.
I really caught the travel bug with van life, and after getting a little taste for what it's like to travel all the time, I really got excited about the possibility of being able to travel internationally full time. So we actually booked these tickets back in June.
Yeah, so this transition has been on the books for a long time. We just didn't know if we were going to store the van or sell the van. But then we ended up deciding to sell the van because we want more comfort. You might think that bringing around the van is more comfortable, but since we're gonna be staying in places like hotels and long-term Airbnbs, there are things that we don't have to worry about, like where are we gonna get our next shower? Where are we gonna dump our pees and our poops and that kind of stuff. So we're gonna have a lot more conveniences with these stays.
And to be completely honest with you guys, I am so over driving. I'm ready for a nice long break and just gonna be able to relax, kick my feet up, and enjoy some public transportation.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
But we will probably rent a van in Europe at some point, which I think is gonna be its own adventure, but for now, we're just looking forward to just slow traveling around.
Van life is not leaving this channel whatsoever. It's a part of us, it's in our blood.
I have a tattoo of it.
So that was one of the questions that we got too. When did we know this was the next step in our travel journey? And like Matt said, we purchased this in June, so it was about a year into our travels that we knew that we wanted to do something else, something more. I'm not saying like we're replacing van life with this new lifestyle, but I think it's expanding on our level of full-time travel.
Yeah, and we do actually have this journey to travel 1 million miles, which is a real thing, and we're tracking miles and we're working towards it. And realistically, it would be almost impossible to do all of that in the van.
Yeah, unless you're a trucker, you're just not driving that much.
Right.
The next question is, how will we be capturing our travels? Are we gonna do YouTube vlogs, IG, shorts? I know a few of you guys have been commenting that you're not loving the shorts. Here's the thing. We make the shorts anyways on IG and TikTok, and we post there. So we figure since YouTube has the shorts here, we would post it anyways. We're not replacing our full-time videos at all.
We did have to take a little bit of a break from regularly posting just when we transitioned back into Megan's parents' house while we were getting out of the van and preparing for this next trip, because quite honestly, we had no time to do everything. But if you look at this to-do list, we still have a couple things we have to check off before we go, but we've had to fully focus on all of that.
We were going to do a video of checking all of those things off the list, but we just started to get so overwhelmed, and then the van sold, and then we had to do that the day before we left. So we scrapped that video, and we're putting out this Q&A instead, because it couldn't happen, guys. It just couldn't happen.
The next question that we got is, how much should you save before traveling?
I think that really depends on how much you want to spend. For us, we are not gonna be staying at hostels and shared spaces because we just want a certain level of comfort and privacy, and that's how much money we are willing to spend. Right now, our budget for stays is under $1,500 a month, and a lot of people who do backpacking and stay at hostels, they can spend way below that. But for us, we want a little bit more comfort and space.
Yeah, after a year and a half of living in the van full time, it's gonna be nice to have access to regular private showers and our own sleeping accommodations. Not to mention we have all of our gear with us that we wanna make sure is just not out in the open.
Not to say we wouldn't stay at a hostel once or twice while we're away. It's always up in the air. But to answer the question, I think it really depends on your budget and where you're going.
In 2022, we spent about $42,000 on all of our van life and travel expenses, and that is pretty much kind of, I'd say, maybe on the higher end of what most people would spend, but really it depends what you're looking to get out of any type of travel, whether it's van life or just international traveling or backpacking. It can be done at any budget, and that's kind of something that I wish I knew about when I was younger, because I always thought you needed to have a really good high-paying job with a ton of PTO to travel. I had no idea that there were tons of people out there full-time traveling and making it work on literally any budget.
So I think the complicated answer is that it's complicated. It depends on if you're gonna have income when you travel, where you're gonna travel, for how long. The best way to think about it is you budget for your expense, and then you subtract any income that you think you're gonna have during that time, and then you save up the difference in your savings so that you can spend that money and not have to worry. Bianca said, are you spending long periods of time in one location to better immerse yourself in culture, seeing all the things, or just bebopping around and seeing the main tourist attractions? That's a really good question.
That's a really good question. And part of our million mile goal is to get more intentional with our travels and really experience the cultures and learn as much as we possibly can from traveling and get the absolute most out of it. So we're gonna be kind of slow traveling our way through Spain for pretty much the first month and a half to 2 months of this trip. So I guess you could say we're going kind of on the slower route. We're definitely gonna see some of the major tourist attractions, but that's not our main goal.
What we want out of travel is exactly what Bianca said, to immerse ourselves in the culture, eat the food, get to know the local people, and that's more important to us than seeing all of the sights and doing all of the touristy things. But we are going to be doing the touristy things when we're there. That's gonna be definitely top of the list for us.
The way that we're kind of viewing this is we're not going on vacation just kind of like van life wasn't a vacation. We're gonna be basically living in Europe.
Yeah. Just not in one place.
Yeah, we're gonna be just
nomadic.
slowly traveling through Europe.
Yep. This is my favorite question. How are we mentally preparing for this switch, and are we excited?
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait. We are like too excited.
Yeah, like it's so awesome.
How are we mentally preparing? Honestly, I will tell you the complete truth, we have not. Because, and I will tell you why, we've been so busy since we've gotten home with figuring out all of this and selling the van and all of that. Once the van was sold, we sat down and we were like, we have to be in Europe tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we are mentally preparing ourselves, kind of like getting our minds around like what we're gonna be doing for the next at least 5 months. I'm just trying to be zen.
It's gonna be okay.
I'm just trying to be zen. I'm not nervous at all, but it's just like nerve-wracking.
I'm really excited. I have no nerves about it. I think everything is gonna work out great.
So to sum this up, 45-day road trip, 5,163 miles. We are now at my parents' house. We're gonna board our flight tonight to Barcelona, and we're gonna be living in suitcases full-time, at least for 5 months, maybe more. And that's gonna be our life for the next 5 months.
So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and let us know down below if you have any recommendations or things you think we might need to know about traveling to Europe.
Yes, for right now, we'll tell you we're going to Barcelona, going down to the coast of Spain, and we're gonna be hitting the Canary Islands. So any recommendations you have for any of those places, please let us know. We are so excited to go to Spain. All right, we'll see you in Barcelona. Bye.